welcome back. I am Kishara, the queen of creative inspiration, and here in this space, we create to inspire. Now, if this is your first time joining me, welcome. I'm a therapeutic art instructor and a life coach, and I am here to walk through this journey with you so that we can become our very best version of ourselves. Now, today is day 14 of our forgiveness journey. Now, today we are diving deep and we are really going there, okay? So, day 14 is all about forgiving our partners and our past partners. It's all about healing and forgiving the relationships that we are either in currently or the past relationships that have maybe affected us negatively. Now, me in particular, this subject is really sensitive to me because in 2018, I was in a very kind of toxic relationship. However, I had been with them for 4 years. I thought we loved each other. Everything seemed fine, even though they were a little judgmental and said some narcissistic things here from time to time. But I kind of looked past that just because I genuinely cared about this person and thought that we could actually have a future together. So I'm going to give you guys a little quick story time just to give you a frame of reference of why this day in particular was difficult for me and show you how this relates to me and how you could possibly identify with these aspects of relationships as well, so that we can learn and grow from each other so that we can support each other along this forgiveness journey. Now, we were going together, we were dating for 4 years. Everything seemed fine, like there was a little bit of things, but nobody's perfect. However, they had a business, and at that time, they were having issues with their business partners, and they wanted to just leave from their business partners, and we decided to start something together. Now, because I trusted this person and we were talking about getting married and we had been together for over 4 years, I just blindly and naively trusted them. They wanted to do everything quickly and expeditiously, and we kind of semi had a long distance relationship because I live in South Carolina and they lived in Atlanta. However, the way we met is that they would always come to Charlotte for their work, so we saw each other every week. We talked to each other all the time, so it didn't really seem like a long distance relationship. But since they were in Atlanta and their business was in Atlanta, they decided that they wanted to stay in Charlotte. So we decided for me to go ahead and get the business up and running, get my business license, get the building that we need, just everything, get the business credit, all of that we needed to get established. I blindly trusted this person and put all of these things in my name. Now, like I said, everything seemed fine up until the point that we got into a business relationship. Now, to be honest, I did notice in the beginning or throughout our relationship that there were some things that were concerning. He did seem a little aggressive and a little bit of verbally abusive, but because I dealt with some trauma in the past in regards to already experiencing those things, it really didn't register as an extreme red flag because I was already kind of familiar with that treatment. So I just kind of looked past it. However, as soon as we got into business with each other and everything was in my name and he didn't have any obligation to it, everything changed. Like, he became extremely verbally abusive and narcissistic. I was extremely depressed. He actually was stealing money from me and just basically took over my business and took over all the profit and would change everything into different bank accounts so that he can reap all the profits. And it was just a crazy situation. So I wasn't making any money off of my business, and then I was still having to come up with financial whatever so that I could actually pay all the bills because everything was in my name. And long story short, I ended up getting so stressed out that I had a stress-induced seizure on August the 28th, 2018, and I actually flipped my car over. Miraculously, I didn't get hurt, and I was actually released from the hospital that same night. However, considering that I randomly started having seizures, they could never identify what happened. I would have thought that this person would have came to my aid and been supportive of the fact that I just flipped my car over and out of nowhere started to have seizures. But however, that is not what happened. What happened was he blamed me. Literally, the last words that he said to me was, "It's not my fault that you ruined everything." He said, "I'm going to be fine because I already started a business with someone else." And he was like, "Everybody's not meant to have a business, but I just hope you get a good job because epilepsy money is expensive." And then he proceeded to curse me out because he had paid for the car that I flipped over, even though I had a seizure. And then he hung up on me, and I've never heard from him again. So, understandably, that situation was extremely hard. Not only did the person that I was with for over 4 years, who I thought that I was going to be in a forever relationship with, who I trusted to start a business with, literally just abandoned me at the absolute worst time in my life. If I ever needed emotional, mental support, it was in this moment. And instead of getting that, I completely got rejected and blamed and devalued or devalidated or invalidated for my experience, and completely disregarded of my emotions and how I felt and how this affected me. So I started getting kind of depressed in regards to basically my whole life changed. I wasn't able to drive anymore. I had to be on medication. Like, my whole family was over concerned because they didn't know what was going on, and they wanted to make sure I didn't have any seizures. So I kind of started to feel suffocated. Like, I felt like all my freedom was gone. I felt hurt. I felt discouraged. I felt abandoned and rejected, which was even more so traumatic because I had already had eternal issues in regards to those emotions because of some of these situations that happened to me as a child. However, I made up in my mind that I was going to forgive this person. So I just decided, you know what, I'm going to let it go. I'm not going to worry about it. I'm just going to try to move on from it. And I felt like, if I don't think about it, if I just say I let it go or whatever, then it will be fine. However, because I hadn't genuinely forgiven this person, and I was still blaming them and holding on to these negative emotions, that it actually carried over into my other relationships in regards to men. And I had to be honest and reflect on what was it after that relationship that allowed me to continue to be in this cycle of either drawing in people that have that same energy and that same mindset, or I would push away people that were genuine because I didn't trust it. I felt like it was only going to be a matter of time that they show me their true colors because I had been hurt so drastically. Then after, there was one incident in particular where I actually genuinely really liked someone, and I could tell they were honest and authentic with me. However, when we were together, I'm not even sure exactly why, but there was something that triggered me emotionally, and I legitimately, basically, like, flipped out on this person. And after, I looked in the mirror and I was devastated. I couldn't even recognize the person that I was. I couldn't believe that I did and said what I said. Like, I didn't even recognize myself. I was devastated and embarrassed because I thought that I was past certain emotions, and I felt like because I had kept myself isolated for 2 years and I was growing and being motivated and finding my courage and my strength and going to church and volunteering, and everything seemed all lolly-dolly and good. However, when it got time for me to be in an intimate relationship, I completely viewed them in the lens of this person. I treated them as if they were this person that hurt me. And I ended up losing that person because I had not forgiven and I was not healed from that situation. Now, in order for me to release that situation, I had to be honest and actually express how I felt in regards to what happened to me. Now, yes, I had a very negative experience with how someone treated me. However, to be honest, I already noticed some of those traits before, like I mentioned. And instead of me viewing those as red flags, I wanted to have someone love and accept me and nurture me for so long that I just pushed past all of those red flags just because I didn't want to lose the time and the love and the energy that I had already invested into this relationship. So after, the incident where I mistreated the person who I genuinely wanted to build something substantial with, I had to sit and stop and think and go through a reflection period to just identify why it was that I acted and responded that way. Why did I treat this person basically the same way that I was treated? How did I transition into this person that I didn't even recognize or identify with? And he even tried to have some sort of relationship with me even after I disrespected him. And because I was so ashamed of how I carried myself and how I conducted myself, that I basically just ran away because I humiliated myself and I just felt like it was too late. There was nothing that I could do. However, both of those situations were honestly blessings in disguise. So after doing reflection and actually looking at everything that happened to me, if I would have never went through any of those painful situations, I would have never been prompted to identify the internal issues inside of me that is allowing me to continue to make these choices in regards to who I would accept into my life and in regards to the people that I would reject out of my life. Now, of course, the whole business situation being abandoned, all of that was negative. However, I did learn and grew a lot from that relationship. I knew how to start a business. I knew how to be independent. I knew exactly what I was capable of. I knew that I was able to basically develop money out of thin air because I needed it in order to pay all these bills that were in my name and in my business name. And so when I started to think about all of those things, is that even though there was times that I was treated unfairly, I did learn and benefit from that relationship, even if it wasn't in the way that I intended it to. Now, in regards to the other situation, I learned a lot from that as well. That was honestly probably the most substantial experience because it wasn't until I disrespected someone that I genuinely had interest and cared for that I had to realize that I needed to release all of this pent up negativity, and by just ignoring it is not just going to make it go away. So I went through a season of trying to re-identify myself, trying to understand who I am and why I am the way that I am and what I could do to benefit me into a more positive perspective. And I was doing really well for a while. I was all about focusing on love and positivity and spreading inspiration with my artwork, and I found purpose through that because of the pain that I went through. However, I pretty much kind of made the same mistake a year or so after that, because I decided to get into another relationship. And to be honest, this person wasn't a terrible person. However, they extremely disrespected me. They actually assaulted me. They pretty much tackled me. And I just didn't understand why this was happening to me because I was genuinely kind and compassionate and genuine with this person. So I just couldn't understand why I was experiencing this abuse when I was not viewing him and treating him in that way. And I kind of got depressed again and had to basically start that journey all over again. So I realized that I had a lot of internal pent up frustration, anger, hurt that I needed to release, which prompted me to do this forgiveness journey and to share it with you guys so that we're able to support each other and encourage each other to release all of this pent up tension so that we can focus on the present instead of living in the past. All that we can do from the past is learn and grow from it and to make better choices. That's all the past is there to teach us. There is no such thing as a negative experience if you learn something from it, if that actually helps you to grow and develop into a better person. And a lot of the times, or at least I feel like in my experience, that the pain that I went through was supposed to be part of my journey because now I feel motivated and encouraged to support and uplift and inspire other people, regardless of whatever their circumstances or situations are. I decided that with my gift of creativity and my art that I wanted to do something more than just paint pretty pictures. And I decided to use my art as a form of healing through journaling and creating affirmations and using that as a form of prayer and a form of developing my faith by continuously to tell myself that I already accept that I forgive this person and I already genuinely wanted to write the vision and make it plain just to allow it to manifest into my life. So I got this book, and to be quite honest, I got this book about 2 years ago and I've started it multiple times, and this book is very, very, very genuine. Let's just say it that way. Like, I truly had to really dive in. And honestly, it's hard to actually admit some of the emotions that you feel. Sometimes we don't actually want to admit how we feel. It makes us feel bad and feel guilty just because we feel a certain type of way. Now, there's nothing wrong with feeling any kind of way. However, once you identify that feeling, then if you don't enjoy it and you don't like that, then it's up to you to change that and not run away from it or ignore it because you don't want to believe that you're like that. Our thoughts don't define us, our actions do. So the action of not changing that perspective was our choice. So if we want to heal, we need to make better choices and have a different perspective and be open and honest, first and foremost, and authentic with how we feel. If we're not honest with how we feel, then how are we supposed to heal anything? We have to actually genuinely express ourselves, regardless of how scary that may seem. Now, this book is Forgiveness 21 Days to Forgive Everyone for Everything by Iyanla Vanzant. And this book is honestly a blessing. I'm not going to lie and say that it's an easy journey because it's not. You'll be surprised some of the emotions and the thoughts and the experiences that come up with all of these different subjects and people or whatever along this 21-day journey. So just being honest, it does dive deep. And one thing that I do like is before we do the reflection questions for each day, she does a little prayer which helps you to set your mind and your intentions to actually open up and be honest about how you feel in regards to whatever this circumstance is. So I want to share 3 of my personal reflection questions or entries with you guys for today for healing our ex-partner. But first, I'm going to go ahead and share and read that prayer with you guys, hopefully to uplift you as well and to invite you to do this journey with me. So the prayer is, Dear God, once again, I lay my weapons down. This time, I really mean it. This time I really open my heart. This time I really surround my heart. I really surrender my hurts and judgments. This time I ask for and open myself to know the part of myself that is being revealed in the behavior of my partner or ex partner. I ask to know and see you. I ask to acknowledge and heal it. I forgive myself for making this so hard on myself and for blaming someone else for the pain I have endured. I rest in thee, I let it be, and so it is. Amen. Now, let's get into these reflection questions. So, I'm going there. I'm being open and authentic with you guys. Like, I feel like there's no point in me doing this journey if I'm not going to take it seriously. So, this is genuinely my experience, my words, my thoughts. So, the first reflection question or entry that I want to share with you is, I forgive my mind for thinking my ex-partner has always taken advantage of me. Now, I do feel that way. I definitely felt like in multiple relationships, not even just romantic relationships, that people have taken advantage of me or mistreat me. However, I allowed a lot of those experiences to happen. I sat there and did not remove myself from the situation, and I continued to blame the person that was hurting me, even though they were being authentic and revealing themselves to me. So if they were being open and honest about who they were, and I stayed and stuck around, I can't put all the blame on them for hurting me, because I hurt my own self by staying in that situation and in that circumstance. So let's get into the second entry for you guys. So I wrote, I forgive myself for judging my ex-partner for abandoning me when I needed love the most. Now, yes, I'm valid for feeling that way. Yes, I felt that way in the past, and not even intimate relationships, but in regards to family and friendships as well. However, if I sit there and I be honest, like, I already noticed some of these traits and characteristics in regards to this person that I'm holding and harboring this unforgiveness to. And again, I have to be open and honest. He showed me exactly who he was, and I chose to not believe it and to just stay there and to think that, oh, I'm different, so that's not going to happen to me. But I was delusional. Apparently, why would I think that he was just going to miraculously become somebody different than who he was showing me he was? Now, the last reflection entry that I want to share is, I forgive myself for believing my ex-partner cannot be empathetic or remorseful of how he treated me. Now, we always want to feel like we know or judge someone, or they did this or they're that way, but we don't genuinely know what's in their heart or in their mind. And by me continuously to think, oh, they don't care about me, they mistreated me, they have no thought or care or empathy for anything that happened to me, and that might not be the case. And even if it is so, it shouldn't affect us or shouldn't bother us, because that situation and circumstance is in the past. I should not be worried and focused about how this person feels about how they hurt me when they've already been removed from my life. I haven't even heard from this person. They straight up abandoned me after I had a seizure and flipped my car over. Why should I be concerned about if they feel sorry for what they did to me? Obviously they didn't, otherwise they wouldn't have just left me in an extremely vulnerable state. So again, I had to be open and honest and realistic that by me even concerning myself about if they feel sorry or if they regretted treating me shows that I was not over them, shows that I was still concerned and about this person, and still had my mind focused on wanting them to treat me better, when, to be honest and realistic, there was nothing within him that showed me that that was going to happen. So I was honestly setting myself up for the hurt, for even more hurt and resentment, just for sitting there pondering and thinking all the time about how do they feel. I bet they feel sorry. I wonder who they're dealing with now, and so on and so on and so on. That just helped to harbor even more hurt, resentment, and pain in my heart. And by me actually expressing that and admitting that, it allowed me to realize that I need to release that. That happened in 2018. It is 2023. It is time for me to release that. I have not heard from this person. They genuinely do not care or are not affected. And if they do, they haven't showed it. But why should I care? Why should I care? Why should I be concerned about someone who showed me that they didn't care about me? I need to care about myself enough to release it and let it go so that I can move on to happy and healthy relationships. There's no way that I can have a positive, loving, compassionate relationship with anyone if I'm harboring so much hurt and resentment towards one particular person. So now I like to focus my intentions or my thoughts in a creative way. I am an artist, and ironically, my love language is words of affirmation. So I use my art and my affirmations as a form of prayer. This is how I genuinely write the vision and make it plain. While I'm creating all of this detailed art, I already have in my mind that I am utilizing all of this to step into faith for having the ability of already being able to forgive and release this person. So this is what I created for this journey. So it says, I forgive my partner or ex-partner. So, and as you can tell, I took a lot of time and a whole bunch of detail in this piece because, with every stroke of the pen, with every mark of the marker, it affected or it revealed a different emotion or a trigger that I was holding on to in regards to releasing this person. And by writing it down and commanding over those thoughts and emotions that no, I forgive. No, that's past. No, I'm going to show love and compassion and forgive this person. It genuinely helped me to see it in a different perspective and to identify that I do have the ability to overcome this situation and circumstance with and through love and forgiveness. So I hope that this helped you guys in regards to your forgiveness journey. If you want to join in this 21-day journey with me, then you can just either continue to watch me grow and express myself along my journey, or you can feel free to join me as well by utilizing this book. And if you're interested in doing that, then I'll leave the information down below for you. So if this blessed you in any sort of way, please like, share, comment, and subscribe. And if you want to support me and my channel, you definitely can do so through donation, or you can check out my Etsy page for some of my artwork as well. Now, I thank you and I appreciate all of you guys, and I will see you tomorrow for day 15 of our forgiveness journey. Peace, love, and positivity to you all. Be blessed.